What's up, y'all? Happy Thursday. Hi. Let's see. I'm going to talk today. I'm excited for all my new followers. It's so fun to get to share. Please let me know if you have questions that you'd like me to answer or anything you're interested in exploring or talking about. Sorry. I was going to talk today about how I was prepared to be called crazy, but I wasn't prepared to be called evil. Okay, most literally like 99% of all the feedback I've gotten from putting myself out there is super positive. Everyone's so nice and it's like super fun. We can all connect. But before I started sharing, I really deconstructed my spiritual experiences in a way that made sense to me. I was raised like my dad was an MD PhD, he's super smart. Like the main background voice in my childhood was like, don't believe anything crazy. You don't believe things that don't make sense. Like you need to be a smart person. That's like the voice that was in my brain. Like as a child, my dad, this was like a huge part of our philosophy as growing up in my house. Um, and so like when I had my spiritual experiences, it was like, oh shit, I think I just went crazy. But I like sat for like years. Like, my experience ended in was 2006 to 2008. I didn't start talking about it till 2023 because I was like, okay, I cannot believe anything that doesn't make sense. Like that's a bad idea. Like I was raised not to do that. That's just part of my makeup in this lifetime. And I was like, okay, well, what makes sense about what happened to me? This is not including my stepdad, very spiritual, beautiful man. But it was like I had to sit with myself to like decide that I could share about this in a way that made sense. Like I know, like basically my reasoning brought me to a place of being, irrational, but okay, like that's why I have that video and that's why I'm always talking about this because of my childhood background. It was like, what makes sense about my experience and like why should I accept it as a rational person? Like it changed my life completely. It made my life better, like the psychic dreams, all these things I talk about as like this for me was enough evidence that yes, okay, like as a rational person, I can accept my experience and share about it and know that like I know there's people out there including many of my friends that because I was basically super closeted and half my friends are atheists and I love them. I don't really care. I care about my friends. I don't really care if you believe whatever. Um so yeah, like yeah, I was prepared to be like for people to be like, well, she's definitely lost it. And I'm sure half my friends are like, well, Rebecca's really schizophrenic now. That's fine. No, but I was, and that's okay. Um, but I was not prepared for people on the internet to tell me that my experience was evil. Like that's nothing that I was like prepared for because I wasn't raised around that mindset. Thank the good Lord. Like I was not raised with the concepts of hell. I was raised Reformed Jewish. I wasn't raised with like I was, like my dad used to say things like, "Can you believe that people think they were born sinners? That doesn't make any sense." I'd be like, "Yeah, that doesn't make any sense." Sorry guys, I'm not. I just like Betty and I got a comment on our little cute video that we put on Instagram and YouTube. Like every comment's so nice. Y'all are beautiful. This is so nice. And then there's someone like, "How do you know the angels aren't demons?" And like I've gotten this kind of comment before and I've done videos about it. And I'm like, just listen to my experience. But most of those people don't actually care what my experience was or like what the actual reasoning was behind it. They're just living in a different kind of mindset. That's just a mindset I had no background in. Yes, I've been to church. Like I have very Christian family on my mom's side. And they're not like that either. That kind of mindset is nothing that I'm like prepared for. So anyway, maybe I'll do a video on how I know like what I'm talking to again. I've done that before. I just wanted to kind of say like yeah, that's been interesting. That's been an interesting part of being out there as a spiritual person who's had spiritual experiences. I was like, okay, I think I can share this publicly, and I know this is why I think it makes sense and why I can talk about this. And then it's like, also, it's evil. I'm like, what? What's happening? No. So when people say stuff like that, it is hard for me. I'll be honest, it hurts my feelings. I experienced evil. My trauma was like super evil. I had these nightmares about demons, and then for people to and I'm sharing like super sincere and like openly for people to come at me with those kind of comments. Um, it's really, really hurt me. I mean, it's very cruel. It feels very cruel. I was not raised evangelical. I don't have really much connection to that world except for having lived in Alabama for like 8 years. Um, yeah. And and honestly, oh yeah, this is brings me just back to the way I was raised by my dad. Like, what makes sense? Like, it doesn't make sense to like just say that something like that changed my life in a beautiful way would be evil. That's just not rational. Um, and so I think rational thought is important in the spiritual world as well. And it basically, I'm not gonna. I have there's so many Bible quotes that I could quote back at those people, but I don't do it because I just like that just gets in a war. Um, so my approach when that happens has just been to send love. I try to just say one or two things and then I just start to look at them like they're the agents in the Matrix. I'm just like, oh, those are the Matrix agents now. Like I'm just and then they just kind of become like that. I just kind of look at them like this programming that isn't really heart connected. But I'm always ready to talk like deeply and interestingly. I have several people I carry on like email conversations with or like comment conversations or whatever about these kind of questions, what's going on. Like if it's a dialogue and we are like both exploring things from our own perspectives, it's beautiful. But if it's just like a fighting kind of accusatory thing, it kind of gets to be a bummer and they become the agents in the matrix to me because that's what they are doing. They're like living out a thought process that exists like outside of their heart center. And like I had that kind of programming too. Like when you start to become more heart centered, you have to kind of look at your programming and release it or at least decide what parts are worth keeping while you're in the physical world. I did like to keep being a rational person, even if it led me to believe in things that don't seem rational. Anyway, that's my blabbing for the week. Has that happened to you? Do you guys wonder like how I know I'm connecting to angels? I can do a whole nother video about it. A lot of it just has to do with the energy of the feeling. And like that's really the world we're kind of shifting into that I've been given is like whatever words and thoughts you have about things are, that has its place, but like we're shifting into the energy, like the heart-centered energy. Energy doesn't lie. Like you can't fake energy. And when you're starting to shift into that place, you can say words, 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 like evil, evil, but like where's the love? Or like when I'm connecting to an angelic being, like it just feels like love. They're the ones that came to me during my experience, my beautiful spiritual experience that healed me from trauma. Anyway, it's been interesting. I was ready to talk. I was ready to say this is why I know I'm not crazy. This is why I know my experience was real to me. I wasn't ready to have to tell people why it wasn't evil. Anyone else been there? Would love your thoughts, would love your comments. I really value everyone in this space, and I'd love to hear your knowledge. And uh, who's your matrix agent in your life? Do you have any people that show up as like something other than you, or that you have to kind of look past their programming? It's interesting. Um, but honestly, I truly believe because of my spiritual experience, it's not really an agent. Like that's just their thought forms. Underneath it all is love. Like I've seen the love in everyone from my experience. And so I try to kind of reach into that loving center when I'm communicating with anyone, whether they agree or disagree with me. And I try to do that with myself too. So that's where I'm at this week. I was ready to be called crazy. I wasn't ready to be called evil. That's my clickbait title. What do y'all think? Okay, I'll see you guys next week. I hope this was interesting. And yeah, be tuned in this Sunday. I'll be doing my angel message. And I'm very thankful for all of you. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good weekend. And very, very thankful for you. See you guys next time. Bye.